Hello everyone, Gaara here and welcome to my weekly Sunday vlog on Monday as always. Um, yeah, I don't know, I just don't get around to do it on Sunday sometimes because I'm streaming from Thursday to Sunday, sometimes from Wednesday to Sunday, depending on how things are going, if I'm playing like a tournament. Like the last 10 weeks we had Trinity series on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and on Tuesday was deck submission, so it was kind of tough to get stream in during those times. But anyways, hopefully, it is like a lot of people are making a meme out of it and don't take it too serious. Like it doesn't matter when I upload this. But yeah, on Sundays or Mondays I should upload it. Yesterday I also uploaded another video instead. It was a 12-win heroic brawl run, but I talk about this in a bit. I made some notes, but then I lost my notebook, so I wanted to make like a very structured video this time, very cool. Yeah, with a lot of points. I started with Monday, and I was on Reddit like last week's Monday, and I saw like a nice Reddit post about the Jade mechanic makes me want to quit Hearthstone, and I wrote it down because I made like an entire video about it. Like I think it was titled "This Patch is the Problem," and where I like really dissect the game and talk about the problems of Hearthstone. And in my opinion, the biggest problem was the Jade mechanic, because it really limits you to certain types of decks that you are forced to play. Like right now, even though I think the surprising enough, I think the Buccaneer nerf was actually really good. Like more good. It turned out more good than I anticipated it to be, because it's so much more fun to play slower decks. Like even though we're still forced, as expected, to play very certain decks, we are forced to play Jade decks and Kazakus decks. But now we also play like Murloc Finja rogues, and I've seen some people play Murloc Paladin and Dragon Priest, even though a lot of these types are kind of boring. Like Dragon Priest is really boring, and all these decks have like a lot of broken mechanics and broken effects and RNG. Don't get me started on that. But it's still fun to have like some sort of like strategy during the game, like decisions. And you can also see this during my 12th win heroic brawl run, where I played Reno Lock, where I actually get to play Hearthstone. You know, when you have a Buccaneer meta or a aggro meta, when you always die turn 4, turn 5, turn 6, all you try to do is just full mulligan for anti-aggro stuff, try to find Reno if you're playing a Reno deck, and just try to survive. You don't really play Hearthstone, like there's no strategy in that. And it really reminded me after the Buccaneer nerf, like how much more awesome the game is if you have like some slower meta. Like this meta is still like pretty boring for most people, but it's so much better to actually have some impact on the game as a good player compared to just trying to survive. And before I get in, because yeah, I follow up with, I won a cup, an open cup 2 days ago, and the way I won is like I played a slow lineup. I played Dragon Priest, Reno Lock, Finja Rogue, and Pirate Warrior. But most people banned my Pirate Warrior, and I didn't want to play that deck anyways. And I banned Pirate Warrior, which was the most aggressive deck. And it was so much fun actually to play, because I had a lot of these slower matchups. You know, I had like Reno Lock versus Dragon Priest, Reno Lock versus Druid. Even though a lot of people say, oh yeah, Jade Druid just hard counters Reno Lock, I still didn't mind to play the matchups. Also like during the Heroic Bro, just because I feel like I get to play some Hearthstone, you know? Yes, there's so much broken stuff happening. Like, this is how bad of a state like the game is when you think about it. It's like I'm still happy like losing to Jades, because I feel like, man, I can still do something in some points of the game, except I just get the nut throw, you know? Turn 1 Jade, turn 2 Jade, turn 3 Jade. I hate playing Jades just because it's so dumb, you know? You see a lot of these big tournaments now, packs happened, like almost everyone has a Jade deck in their lineup, you know, and it's so easy to play, you know. that's what really bothers me the most about the Jade mechanic. It's just too easy to play. You have a turn 1 Jade, you have a turn 2 Jade, turn 3 Jade, you will most likely win the game if you're not facing a super aggressive deck. And that was like the biggest weakness to the Jade decks. This is why I thought, yeah, the Buccaneer nerf will not be as good, because there's no counter to Jade decks. What stops Jade decks, you know? You can still, if you build like a greedy Reno deck, you have like some chances against it. But this is really something that bothers me, probably also other people, but other people don't talk about it as much, just because, I mean, they play Hearthstone for fun, they watch streamers and stuff, they're not playing Hearthstone competitively. But since I'm playing Hearthstone competitively, and for me the future of Hearthstone matters a lot, at least right now, before I decide to, I don't know, do something else, I don't know. But I really like being a pro player, was always my dream, and it's like my passion, and I really enjoy it. But what bothers me right now is with the direction Hearthstone is going, also like with life coach quitting and all that stuff, that Hearthstone is becoming too easy. That is my main concern. For example, Jade mechanic is like the Jade, if the okay, let's go back a little bit and compare it to Cartoon. Cartoon decks are super easy to play, most of them as well. It's just you play 2 Cartoon buffers, then you play your broken Cartoon cards. But they were like tier 2 decks. I think a Cartoon deck was never a tier 1 deck, and that was really good and very important for the game, because they're really easy to play. And I think they were like mainly for free to play players, the Cartoon decks. That's why it was okay. I think only Cartoon Warrior was maybe tier 1 considered at some point, but that was like the most difficult deck to play compared to the other Cartoon decks, just because you have so many decisions, and it was not out to win when you play that deck. Like you have to use your resources very carefully. Compared to Jade decks is like a couple months down the line, which we have right now, is Jade decks. A lot of Jade decks are tier 1 decks, except Jade Rogue. I mean, there's not that many different Jade decks. It's just Druid and Shaman, but they're definitely tier 1 versions out there right now, and they're too easy to play for tier 1 decks. And that what bothers me a lot. And if Blizzard is really following that trend, you can see it with the nerfs they're doing, with the cards they are pushing towards the Hall of Fame, like Sylvanas and the Power Overwhelming Icelands, like the difficult decks. I mean, with the Patron nerfs, and you can see the trend that they're really nerfing every single difficult deck in Hearthstone, and you can see it with the cards they're printing, the cards they're really showing from the future. There's a lot of RNG, like there's like broken RNG, and I don't know if I mind too much, but the thing is that cards like Kazakus, they have like so much RNG. Just to just quickly use that as an example, like you cannot play around it. Like when you go back to 2014, when you had 2 control decks playing against each other, you could like maybe put your opponent maybe 27, 26, 25 cards in their deck, but you had to know when to use every single resource in your deck to beat your opponent or to overcome your opponent. And you had to know when to use your bottle and stuff. Right now, like in Whispers of the Old Gods, the most common control deck was Control Warrior, and in the Control Warrior mirror, it basically came down to, yeah, you just armor up to 100 armor, and then at least RNG decided the game, and that was already really bad for the game. Like it didn't really come down to decisions. At some point, after like 3 or 4 months, a huge amount of people already learned or mastered the Control Warrior class, and then it really came down to draw RNG. Like if you draw the nuts, you know, you get Elise on 4, you get Justica on 6, Gohar on 7, you know, or like just you can just win straight up if you just get the right draws. But most of the time it comes down to, yeah, both players draw their deck, have 100 armor, both players play Elise, and who gets better legendaries wins the game. Unbelievably much worse than before. And right now it is, the Jade mechanic is like so much worse, and that was already bad, obviously, with Yox around deciding so many competitive games. And right now we have, yeah, Jade mechanic. Jade mechanic is so, that the biggest problem about this, not that it's so broken and stuff, obviously it being broken is a problem, but it's too easy to play. Like everyone can do it, like almost everyone can play Jade through it. So many people got 12 wins with Heroic Brawl, and I don't think it matters too much if you're like a tier 1 player or if you're just like an average legend player if you play Jade through it. Um, yes, there are some decisions, but the Jade mechanic really focuses on just drawing the Jade cards. Like if you use Shaman, for example, you have 9 Jade cards. I think it's 9, and those 9, like let's say 7 of those Jade cards are in the bottom 15 cards of your deck. You will just lose in a Jade mirror if the opponent just draws more Jade cards faster, right? And where's the strategy in that? Because the Jades snowball very quickly. As soon as your Jades are 4/4, they're like a super huge threat already, right? If you play Jade Spirit and summon a 4/4 Jade, that's already insane value. And then after that 5/5s, and then you play Aya, it's over. And just the way how Hearthstone works. And this is what I'm worried about the most for the future. Okay, this is gonna be a long vlog, but I really am like in a mood to talk about these kind of things because I think it's important to address them. Yeah, I really hope that, for example, the questing mechanics, like those kind of mechanics, that they will be powerful, but also hard to execute, obviously. But you have to get rewarded, for doing right plays and stuff. And this is what I'm worried about, because Blizzard, a lot of people always come immediately to me and say, no, Blizzard never intended Hearthstone to be a competitive game. They just wanted to be free to play, fun, and all that stuff. No, they said many times that they want it to coexist, and that they believe it cannot coexist. Like this fun, casual Hearthstone can coexist with a competitive Hearthstone, and Hearthstone is like technically an esport. So, but if you want this to, if you want Hearthstone to grow, and if you want the competitive aspect to succeed, you cannot simplify this game so much, man. It's way too easy to play. Right now, the only deck that is challenging me is maybe Reno Lock. The other decks are just too easy to play. It's like too easy to master. Even anything Paladin, if you put your mind into it as like a pro player, you just practice 5 days, and then you know how to play the deck. But the deck is not even good. Just like Jade decks, like everyone knows how to play them. I think I talked about this. I just wanted to address this in this vlog because I noticed this, and I really want to talk about this because like I'm playing Cups, and I just won one, and I feel like I'm in the zone in the game right now. So I think this is like the biggest concern, and also for the future. So the next thing, pack price increase. There was a lot of drama, and oh my god, Blizzard is like facepalm. The reason why this is even has happened is because like the financing department of Blizzard has absolutely nothing to do with the Hearthstone development, right? It's like if the Hearthstone development would be working at finance, it's completely two different sections of Blizzard, right? They would never time the pack price increase this poorly, right? Hearthstone is kind of like already like in a stale state. A lot of people are hating on the game. A lot of people are quitting the game. People are unsure, A lot of people will obviously come back once the new expansion comes, but the pack price increase, like people have searching for reasons to quit the game. And then they put the time this pack price increase so poorly. That's, what can you do? It's like you have to know that it's just other people's are like making the books at Blizzard, and they're noticing, the average currency value has went down, and now we're not making enough money with Hearthstone, and so we have to increase the pack price. Is this the worst time possible? Yes, but. All I can say is just, I don't know. Also, like the Hearthstone is getting obviously more expensive, not just without the pack price increase, because they announced 3 expansions per year and not adventures, but card pack expansions, which means it's just much more expensive because card pack expansions are much more expensive than adventure expansions. And I don't know, man, how much this will cost me because I play on free servers. And with the pack price increase, it can be like 3 times as expensive, which is ridiculous to think about. And bear with it, I guess, and just give them a chance. Maybe the next expansion will be cool, because expansions can always make everything better or worse. And let's hope the trend doesn't continue. I still believe that Blizzard is learning a lot of things and are doing just they're testing out a lot of stuff, and yeah, I hope it's gonna become better, because they clearly are listening to the community sometimes, and you have seen that in their response in, for example, the arena changes, which have happened like 2 weeks ago, I believe, or 1 week ago, and also yeah, like the purify, that they removed it from arena, and some things. They're definitely listening to some extent. This is why I think it's important to, also for me, to make my videos. I don't think anyone from Blizzard will watch it, but just to point out some things that are on my mind. The next thing, yeah, I had a 12 wins heroic brawl run yesterday, and I think also the heroic brawl are at times so kind of greedy, I have to say. Obviously, it's like we are so deep into the expansion. The new expansion is coming out in 2 weeks, and even if you get 12 wins in heroic brawl, it's really not rewarding, because I don't want mean Streets of Gadgets packs. It's like, why? It's like, I'm really not happy. Like, if the heroic brawl would come out when Gaara comes out, that's already insane. And I think they would actually make more money when you think about it, because way more people will, like, it's such a, obviously the EV of heroic brawl is absolutely terrible. EV is expected value. It's like a poker term. But so many more people will like just still go for it. It's like gambling. But right now, why would you play heroic brawl and sink your gold into it and waste your gold? Now, obviously, so you don't get packs for free. That's like the main purpose of this. But I think you would still make more money if you release heroic brawl when the expansion comes out, because because that's awesome, new cards, and we need the packs, and getting 12 wins when that comes out is so huge, because give me those juicy new cards. I uploaded that video on my YouTube channel as well, if you want to check that out. And I think that's it for this week's. Is I think a little bit longer vlog than usual, but there were like some things I wanted to talk about, and hope you guys like it as always, and see you guys next week. Peace out.